Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're doing a deep dive and we're getting extremely specific. We are looking at
A classic.
a classic piece of industrial hardware, the Mitsubishi MELSERVO MR-J2-S amplifier, and we are hunting down one very specific, very notorious gremlin, the ALE9 error.
It is a classic for a reason. I mean, if you work with these older drives, you have definitely seen this flashing on the display. And our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Right. We want to decode what that error actually means.
Exactly. Why it pops up and the critical, and I mean, lethal safety steps you need to take if you decide to touch it.
We've got the original technical support docs from Mitsubishi here, along with specific knowledge-based articles on the J2 series and the safety manuals. So let's jump right in. ALE9. Is the drive just toast?
Not necessarily. And that is the first big misconception. The E9 isn't technically a breakdown alarm.
Oh, it's not?
No, the manual actually defines it as a main circuit off warning.
Okay, so what is it actually warning us about?
To understand this, you really have to visualize the drive's anatomy. Think of it like you have the brain and the muscles.
Okay, brain and muscles, got it.
Right, so the brain is the control circuit. That's terminals L11 and L21. It handles all the logic. It's awake. The muscles are the main circuit.
Which is terminals L1, L2, and L3.
Yeah.
The high voltage power.
Exactly. So the E9 is essentially a conflict between those two. The brain is awake, the logic is running, and it receives a servo on end command to move.
It's trying to flex the muscle.
Yes, it tries to flex, but it looks down at the main terminals and sees 0 voltage. There's no blood flow to the muscles. So the brain panics and throws an E9.
So before we just blame the hardware, we should look at how we're waking it up. Is this usually just a wiring issue?
More often than not, it's actually a timing issue. We call it power sequencing.
Meaning we turn things on in the wrong order.
Right. If you power up that 24-volt control circuit, the brain, too early, it wakes up and waits for the main power. If that 230-volt main power isn't there instantly or doesn't arrive at the exact same time, the drive thinks the main power is cut.
Okay, so let's assume you're standing at the panel. You check with your multimeter, and there is definitely 230 volt sitting right there at L1, L2, and L3. The e-stop hasn't tripped the contactor. The power is there, but the drive still throws the E9.
Now you have a problem. If the power is physically there, but the drive's brain says it isn't, then the internal sensing hardware has failed. We're moving from a wiring issue to an actual component failure inside the box.
What actually breaks inside?
Usually, it's a breakdown in the voltage detection circuit. There are 3 main culprits.
Yeah.
First, the voltage detection resistors. If these go open, the CPU reads 0 volts. Second, the optocouplers.
Those isolate the high voltage logic, right?
Exactly. If they die, the power OK signal never reaches the processor.
And what's the third?
The inrush limiting relay. This is a mechanical part that bypasses the initial charging resistor. If that relay fails or gets stuck, the drive just can't properly verify the main circuit status.
And I assume the DC bus capacitors play a role here too.
A huge role. If those capacitors dry out over time and lose capacitance, the DC bus voltage ripples or drops, triggering that exact same alarm.
Okay, so if you're an engineer, you might be tempted to just pop the case open and swap out a resistor or that relay.
Stop right there. The manual is terrifyingly clear on this. We are dealing with high voltage electrolytic capacitors. Just because you flip the breaker off does not mean it's safe.
Because they act like batteries.
Exactly, they hold a lethal charge.
So how long do you have to wait?
Minimum 15 minutes after power off. And even then, you have to visually verify that the charge lamp is fully off. Do not rely on a timer. If you touch those internal components while that lamp is lit, it's game over.
Wow. So given the danger and the complexity of those internal parts, is it even worth repairing? The MR-J2 series is discontinued anyway, right?
It is. And honestly, if the logic board is fried or the capacitors are shot, the official recommendation is migration. You're looking at moving to the MR-J4 series.
That sounds like a major headache. Doesn't that mean rewiring the entire panel?
Actually, Mitsubishi anticipated that. They released specific conversion cables that let you drop a J4 drive into a J2 slot without re-terminating everything. It's a lot safer than trying to solder a new relay onto a 20-year-old board.
That does make a lot of sense.
But here is where it gets really interesting for you listening. We mentioned those capacitors drying out. The sources recommend replacing them every 10 years.
And most of these J2 drives have been running for 20.
Exactly. So here is the question you need to ask yourself. How much invisible aging hardware is currently sitting in your facility? It's running fine right now, but internally, chemically, it is deteriorating. Is it just waiting to trigger an ALE9 at the worst possible moment?
A ticking time bomb in the panel. Definitely something to mull over. Well, that is it for this deep dive. Stay safe out there.